Good evening, good afternoon. I have a lot to cover today, and I want to give you this chapter 14, Facing My Fears and My Future as a Widow. I don't think there's ever been a time in people's lives, let me put the hallelujah light on. I don't think there's a time in people's lives that I've known of when, other than with AIDS, that there will be so many widows or widowers. And the questions I asked myself when this happened was questions you're going to ask yourself, because whether you have children or not, they're not going to be able to heal. There's a bond between a husband and a wife that goes very deep. And so I have to get through this chapter because tomorrow is my birthday and I'm going to take a break because there's going to be a lot of interruptions and I don't want to be rude to anybody, and I have to focus and concentrate on what I'm saying. And I know that's one of the reasons you're sharing and that you're caring and that you're making this thing well known to more friends, new people, that I'm really reading from my heart, my book, nobody else's. This is me. And I'm going to end up, I'd like to see it done in an audible eventually with the personal touches down the road, all these things going through my mind. But right now I want to go on chapter 14. You're going to find out a lot about me and the insecurities as well as the securities, the stabilities, the instabilities. You're going to find out a lot about me as a very young widow and what I had to face. You know my relationship with Jeff by now. If you don't, I have dated every episode, every reading that goes back to April 3rd. And that's how it is. It's Saturday, the date, the topic. Sunday, the date and the topic. You are all organized and in order. But this chapter, I feel, will hit many, many of you. If not now, perhaps your moms, your grandmothers, or you, because life happens very quickly. So Jeff was getting very close to passing, and I had to have come to some realization about things. And it was a very tear-jerking day yesterday. Surprised I haven't truly scared most of you off, but you're loyal. You're very loyal. There's something about what I'm doing that's catching on to you. I said when it was, I'm going to repeat it, Tad, then I have to go on and finish this. I said that my greatest pleasure was always my rewards being a wife to Jeff, my husband, and my home. I loved the cooking, the entertaining. I loved that part of it. I loved the trips. I loved the travel. I loved everything he could give me. And I couldn't walk out because I was getting out of life what I wanted also. And so a lot of questions that I had to ask myself were, the days that he gave me such direction and helped me to focus on so many things I wanted to do. Who will walk with me on the beach? Who will I cook for? Who will I watch beautiful sunsets with? Who will buy me fragrant flowers and perfumes? You've asked yourself, widows and widowers, hundreds of questions. Who will? Who will? Eventually, you know what? You will. That's what I learned. I will. And what will, for the holidays, be like? I think they're very, very hard. I've never found them easy yet. I don't deny my fact when people say, well, what are you going to do? I said I might just go to sleep and try to spend the whole day in bed. Unless it's with somebody I really care about, a good friend. I don't enjoy the holidays, anybody's. People can say, that's terrible, they should be joyous. Go through what I've gone through. Be where I am, and don't tell me on your journey what I should do. This is your journey. I'm telling you my journey and how I feel. And if you met me tomorrow and you said, gee, Susan, what are you going to do for your birthday? I'm going to say, I'm going to have physical therapy on my knee and I bought myself a car. How's that? So then it will say, will I ever be happy and smile again? Will I ever be able to rid my mind of the images I saw? Will I give up the things I used to do as I try to accept a new and unfamiliar challenge? How much of my life will I have to change? And will I be able to accept these changes? Oh, Jeff, what will I do without you? And when I found out, I had no choice. I did go forward. Now here I am going to get into a lot about me. I am too young and alive to become a widow. It does not feel right or make any sense. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you, and we were supposed to grow old together, and no one or nothing was going to change that picture I had in my mind. That was the way it was supposed to be. We were a team. We still had so many wonderful things to accomplish and experience. Our parents were still alive and they knew each other and were very close. We had many interesting and fun-loving friends, and we had a lifetime of exciting adventures to look forward to. You had given me everything I had always dreamed of. How could I have asked for anything more? You are the one I was supposed to share all of this with. What good is the time and money if we can't enjoy it together? This is going to hit you hard, some of you, as you've lost your loved ones through COVID. You've become a widow and a widower, the largest sorority in the world, widows and widowers. And at some point, if you love someone, or even if you don't, if you're married, sweetheart, that's what happens. You can live, you can love, and you can lose. Though our life together was unconventional, shall you think, we made the marriage work because we never gave up on each other. We had our share of problems, but every relationship does. Somehow we always managed to talk about it. It's ironic that I hadn't told you this until now. But did you know that before you took ill, our relationship was the best it had ever been? My relationship with Jeffrey over those 23 years had gotten the best it could be through all of his affairs, all of the worrying about AIDS, everything. It was the best it had been. I had accepted our tumultuous and passionate relationship because I wanted to stay married to you. I learned to live with your bisexuality and understood that it had nothing to do with us. You were the way you were, and I would try not to change you. We had our life together, but we also had our own individual lives. I was involved with my writing career. I had developed my own interests, friends, and goals. I wanted to fulfill so many things. I had become someone I liked and respected because I was handling my life with you in an honest and healthy manner. But you were the core that gave everything in my life meaning and purpose. My life meant something because our life together meant everything. My life with him didn't mean something. It meant everything. Why should this disease take you from me at a time in my life when I wanted and needed you the most? What will I do without you? Don't think you're not asking yourself these questions. You know you are. And when the series is made by someone out there who will connect me to the right person, or when the major movie hits, you will see people go through what I'm going through and not with embellishments, and they will not be pretending. They will feel everything that I went through and everything he went through. Because if you're not willing to make this story exactly the way it is, then you're not right. On July 4th, 1992, just 2 years after I brought you home from the hospital, I will ask you a terrifying question that I have never dared ask you before. I didn't have to deal with it until now, and I also I couldn't find the courage and strength to face it. However, if I am going to get through this horrible time, I must address this painful issue with you now. I have no choice. I do not ask you this question because I am insecure, immature, and dependent upon you. I am asking you this as your wife, best friend, and devoted longtime companion. My question is based on wants, not needs. As I sit next to your bed tonight, stroking your forehead, I cannot avoid asking you this any longer. Here we go again. Different night, same question. Question, Jeff, what will I do without you? End quote. I asked this so many times, but every time it was more powerfully sincere. My voice was different. Jeff, what will I do without you? For a few moments we sat in silence, both of us painfully aware of the impact this question had. You took my trembling hands in yours, and with a gentle, loving voice said, quote, Susan, take it one day at a time, remembering who you are and what you have become. You will eventually go back to your routine and do the same things you love to do. Only now you will do them without me. You will allow different people into your life, and you will explore your feelings deeply and honestly. You will handle your life the way you always have and continue to grow in strength and in courage. He really seriously believed in me. You will take on exciting challenges and share wonderful experience with others. You will go on and become stronger and happier. Why am I so dark? That I don't like. Well, oh God, no. God, I all messed that up. Oh, please stay with me. Here we go. Oh, thank you, Jesus. The lightning. Okay. You will go on and become stronger and happier than you have ever been. You will do this because this is the way you are. You will miss me, but eventually you will welcome and embrace your new life. You will have an identity and a life all your own. You will be everything you ever wanted to be, and I will be with you. I will always be there with you. I promise you this, end quote. Jeffrey, on my birthday coming up tomorrow, I would like you to do the same things that you did for me every year in the spirit. Here we go, some more interesting stuff. I have one more page. Oh, we're good. There's some chapters that are just more important than others. Some you get to know about Jeff and myself. Some you get to know me. Some you're going to get to go into more stuff. These chapters were so personally written that I absolutely cannot remove myself from one chapter to the next as easily as you think it might be. Not when it's journaled and it's personal and it's day to day. No. When you kept your diary, some days were the same, but many days were different, and you captured them on your paper. On January 11th, 1969, I made my unconditional commitment to you. I made the decision to love you with all my heart and soul for the rest of my life. It wasn't a duty or an obligation. It was a choice. I would have compromised anything to keep you in my life, and I would have done whatever I had to do in order to make our marriage work. My marriage was difficult, but it was mine. That's what I tell you. Your life may be challenging and difficult, and you're going to have all sorts of issues, but it's your life. You have to learn how to effectively deal with it and move on. You can't just get out and pretend your life doesn't exist. You matter, and as long as you're alive, you have opportunity. My marriage, it was a choice. I wouldn't have compromised anything to keep you in my life. and I would have done whatever I had to do in order to make our marriage work. My marriage was difficult, but it was mine. Not for you to judge, and never for me to judge you. My marriage was difficult, but it was mine. My life with you was turbulent, but it was my life. I knew if my marriage was not successful, our enduring friendship would have been strong enough to keep us together. We both knew we were worth the extra effort, and we would never have given up on each other. I can honestly tell you now, I know you would never have left me. I remember joking with you dozens of times, stating why I knew you would never leave me. He never, ever had another woman in his life, and I would know he would never have left me. In fact, his partners knew right on. Don't even think of getting between them. It won't happen. It was hard. It was very hard to accept it, but I knew no one could take him from me. You loved my cooking and the way I did your laundry, especially your shirts. I kidded you about this and many other things until now, and you had to feel the same way because you were the one having the sexual encounters with men. You had many opportunities to leave me, but you always chose to come back. Though it was horribly difficult, I learned how to accept your homosexual desires as a part of our lifestyle, and I understood your passions and your needs. You know, I never felt threatened or felt like I had to compete with these men. They were temporary partners who came in and went in and out of our life. You were two ships passing in the night, but what will I do without your friendship? Because that is the one thing we always shared that I could count on. I will miss the friendship the most. I don't miss my marriage. My marriage was my commitment to God. I miss my friend. That was the choice. On June 19th, how are we doing here? Oh, good. On June 19th, 1992, as part of me buried you along with your diagnosis. On June 19th, 1992, a part of me buried you along with your diagnosis. Though I feel like I am dying along with you, I know I am not. Tonight, my darling, as the fireworks light up the moonlight sky, this was on July 4th, 1992, 2 weeks after the hospital. I got him out of the hospital. Tonight, my darling, as fireworks light up the moonlit sky, I asked for your guidance, your support, and your reassurance. And as it had been throughout our marriage, you were right. You told me what I needed to hear, and I was hopeful and comforted by the faith you have in me. You made me believe that one day I would be all right. I was afraid to ask you my question because of what I would hear. But as I lie awake in my bed tonight, I know that I will slowly adjust. I will settle into a new life with different people, places, and things. I will go on as others had done before me. I will learn to do my future without the man I was accustomed to sharing my life with. But I know I will be all right if I take the time to let the time take care of me. You were my partner, my friend, and my forever love. What will I do without you? I will do all right, because you will always be with me. I'm going to end there, and we will start chapter 15. Now, as tomorrow is my birthday, I said there's going to be a lot of phone calls, posts on my timeline, and wonderful, wonderful interruptions. So I'm going to take the day off, and we will go from May 3rd on to May 5th. So don't think I've stopped, because we've only just begun on 14. We have 10 more chapters that'll make you laugh or rip your little guts out. I know that you are with me, all of you out there that I do not know. Maybe one day, somehow, we will meet. I don't know. But just remember that my life was a choice. I don't judge anybody. I never have really been judgmental. I've been mean, angry, nasty, rude, arrogant, opinionated, stubborn. But I don't judge. And the reason I don't judge is because I know what it's like to be judged. For people have judged me my whole life. Judged the way I looked. Judged first impressions, the way I spoke. Judged because I was beautiful, or I had great clothes, or I had the life everybody wanted. People judge. To say that I don't, well, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, because there's that part of me that will always judge. We have to judge a little bit. But I think when you have a long-term friendship, like with Jeff and myself, it goes back so far that you know each other, as kids. It's not as if, again, he was my lover, he was my high school sweetheart, he was in the football jacket and the ring. I have my own Troy High School ring on from 1964. But we just had a friendship that went back for years. If you meet people today, they might feel like you know them. You can say, I feel like I've known you for years, or I feel like we've met before. That's just spirit people meeting spirit people. And we are only spirit people. What you see is just someone who's wearing a spirit inside. I put the clothes on and the hair, but inside I'm just a spirit. And I hope that by God telling me to read my book, and this time that works for me. So I really just hope that for all of you who've been with me, you come on, you go off. It's not for you, or it's, why doesn't she just keep reading? Oh my God, she's talking to me. I want more. You'll get more. But I'm going to take tomorrow off. And as I said, I'm going to celebrate by having physical therapy on my knee. And I bought a car. I bought a nice little red Sentra. Adorable. Perfect for me. Don't know how to use it. It's got all the stuff that flashes and makes noises and beeps, and the radio is totally intimidating. But on Thursday, he'll show me how to use it. So every day, why don't you do something for yourself? That's the other thing. Every day, do something for yourself. Take 20 minutes, half an hour. Shut yourself off from the world. Write. Why don't you take 20 minutes, half an hour, get out your spiral notebook or your notepad or your iPad, and why don't you think about yourself today? Where are you? What do you want? Where do you want to go? If you're in a relationship, what do you want from it? Just start asking yourself these questions and put them down on paper. They may not have any answers now. My answers have come and gone over the years, and many of them I'm just learning about. So, I want to say thank you, all of you, for everything. I'll be back on May 5th. And I know one thing. If I had been on an Oprah show with this story, the audience would have been given big boxes of tissues, because I've tried to control myself many times. But when those interviews start to come, and some of you know exactly who to get me to, whether it's newspapers, media, big time, interviews, all of it, I'm going to pour those tears out, because the more intense I talk about it and the more real I am and the more people I can reach, the tears start to flow because my heart's in it. So I'm going to say, God bless you, and shalom, hello, shalom, goodbye, and shalom, peace. Please be kind. Please have a little more patience. Please don't quit. Please don't quit. God gave you a plan when you were born. He gave you a purpose. God gave you something He wants you to do. So don't stop believing. Don't stop hoping. Don't stop. And call someone today. Call them while you can. Tell them you love them. Even if you don't like them, call them and be honest and say, I just wanted to let you know I care. Are you all right? I think that's what I missed a lot in the beginning. The phone calls were all the time, all the time, all the time. Then they got quieter and there was less of them. But the ones that continued to call, they helped me. They helped me to go to the beach. They helped me to go to the movies. They helped me to have dinner with them. And to this day, many of you who I've only known for 15 years instead of 30 have helped me by being there for me and knowing that sometimes for me are very rough as the widow with no kids, no family. But remember the smile, and remember, don't feel sad for me. I'm going to be reading my book because I love it. I'm going to reading my book because many of you need it. And one day you're going to remember the lady who talked into her phone every day and read her book. And I still say, find me one other person who has done this. Read on Facebook her book. There is no one, because God gave me this idea. And when He gives you an idea so powerful, especially when it's about His people, you won't have anybody else do it. Your creativity, your imagination, and what you're going to do, if you get it from God and it's in your heart, do it. And don't think what anybody else feels or cares about. Stop listening to people and do what you know is right. Shalom. I love you. And thank you so much. I'll see you May 5th. Finish up, Susie.